Welcome to Dreamy Sleep Tales, where moonlight meets mystery and dreams come alive. Tonight, embark on an extraordinary voyage with Solara, the fearless dream keeper, as she answers the moon's secret call, dives into the shimmering depths of a hidden star garden, and battles a sorrowful shadow that seeks to steal every spark of hope. Cozy up beneath your blanket. Let the ocean's lullaby wash over you, and prepare to be enchanted by a story of courage, wonder, and the dazzling power of dreams. On an island kissed by perpetual twilight, where honeysuckle scents drifted on gentle breezes and lantern-lit pathways wound through flowering groves, lived a girl named Solara. Her hair was the color of midnight velvet, and her eyes, the pale blue of moonlit tides, held a quiet wonder within them. Each evening, when the village's lanterns flickered to life and the first stars blinked awake, Solara slipped away from her small cottage at the edge of the shoreline. She knew every creak of the wooden dock, every pebbled cove, every whisper of surf against stone. Yet her favorite place of all was a rugged cliff where a lone tree with crimson leaves spread its gnarled branches toward the sea. Those leaves never wilted, even in the fiercest storms, and at night they glowed softly in the moonlight. Beneath this tree, Solara would sit cross-legged upon a smooth, flat rock, breathing in the salty air and allowing the rhythmic lull of waves to soothe her restless heart. From the earliest moments of her memory, Solara felt a mysterious pull toward the moon. As a child, she would wake at midnight, drawn outside by a silvery glow dancing across her bedroom ceiling. Sometimes she whispered to herself. Sometimes she hummed an ancient lullaby passed down by her grandmother, one that sounded like distant chimes on the wind. The villagers said she had the moon's ear, able to understand secrets hidden in the ocean's song. But Solara carried that gift quietly, never boasting, only listening. And so, on one extraordinary night, when the moon was at its fullest and brightest, hanging low above the horizon like a great golden lantern, Solara settled into her usual spot. Above her, the sky shimmered with stars, each one a pinprick of promise, and the ocean spread out before her like a vast mirror of liquid midnight. Tiny crimson petals fluttered down around her, drifting like embers from the enchanted tree. Then, as if the very air had grown still, a soft voice broke the hush. Solara. Her heart skipped. The voice carried on the breeze, gentle as a lullaby, yet resonant with power. Her gaze lifted to the moon, which seemed to pulse with light. For a long moment, she simply stared. Do you hear me, child of the starlit shore? The voice whispered again. Solara pressed a hand to her chest. Yes, she breathed. I hear you. In that instant, the ocean stilled, and the crimson leaves shivered in recognition. The moon's glow intensified until Solara felt its warmth upon her cheeks. She had always known the old legends, that the moon could speak to those pure of heart. But she had never truly believed until now. I have watched you for many moons, Solara. The moon continued, its voice tender yet grave. The star garden beneath the waves is in peril. Stars, those sparkling beacons born from dreams and wishes, are vanishing. I need you to become its guardian. Solara's breath caught. Me? A guardian? Her voice trembled with awe and fear. I'm only a girl. It is precisely because you are unassuming that you were chosen. Dreams flourish in gentle hearts. If the star garden dims, dreams on earth will fade, and sorrow will rule the night. Will you answer my call? For a moment, Solara hesitated. Visions of her simple village life, the safety of her cottage, the faces of those she loved, all flickered through her mind. But as she looked at the sea's dark expanse and imagined countless untold dreams slipping into silence, her spirit flared with resolve. I will go, she whispered, and I will not fail you. Before Solara could speak another word, the smooth rock at her feet began to glow. She gasped as a moonstone, the size of her fist, surfaced from the depths of the cliff's crevice. Pale silvery veins coursed through its translucent form, and it hummed softly as though alive. Take the stone, Solara, the moon instructed. It will guide you to the star garden and protect you in darkness. Listen to its song when you feel lost. Trembling, she reached out and cradled the stone in her palms. Instantly, Warmth spread through her fingers and up her arms. The moonstone's gentle hum echoed in her mind, resonating with her heartbeat. As she gazed at it, tiny motes of light, like fireflies born of stardust, drifted skyward, swirling around the moon before cascading down in a shimmering arc. When they touched the ocean's surface, a luminous path unfurled across the waves, glowing silver blue beneath the moon's gaze. "Follow the light," the voice beckoned. "It will lead you to a portal hidden beneath the waves." Solara stood, clutching the moonstone to her heart. Every nerve in her body tingled with anticipation and trepidation. She stepped forward, the soft sand cool beneath her feet, and carefully made her way down to the water's edge. The glow shimmered like a beckoning chain of stars upon the sea. When the water reached her ankles, she paused, inhaled deeply, and allowed herself to believe in the impossible. Then, with a final glance at the luminous moon overhead, she waded into the water. The moonstone's glow pulsed in Solara's palm like a heartbeat as she walked deeper into the sea. With each step, the water rose, first to her knees, then her waist, yet it never chilled her. Instead, a gentle warmth radiated from the stone, guiding her forward. The luminous path shimmered beneath her feet, illuminating curious shapes beneath the surface. Anemones swaying like dancers, pearlescent shells, and schools of fish that glowed with the soft blue sheen of moonlit pearls. At the end of the glowing trail, just where the waves curled into a quiet inlet, Solara paused. Before her, the water rippled and bent, as if the sea itself were a veil waiting to be parted. Drawing a steadying breath, she plunged forward and felt no resistance. The water enveloped her like silk, and in that liquid embrace she sank deeper, the world above fading into muted light. Moments later, Solara opened her eyes to find herself in a realm unlike anything she had ever imagined. Here, the sea was a grand cathedral of glass. Moonbeams filtered down through the water, scattering in prismatic arcs that danced across towering coral spires. Strange flora, seaweeds braided with strands of starlight, pulsed with gentle luminescence, and currents carried notes of distant lullabies. as though the very water sang. She surfaced into a vast, air-filled chamber, hewn from living coral, its walls glowing with constellations of bioluminescent polyps. The air tasted faintly of salt and sweetness, and Solara marveled that she could breathe so easily. The moonstone guided her forward, its soft light illuminating an underwater plaza where statues of sleeping children, crafted from driftwood and pearl, lay scattered like fallen dreams. Suddenly, a ripple of movement caught her eye. Dozens of starfish shepherds, gentle creatures with arms of star-shaped coral and eyes like polished opal, drifted toward her. Each shepherd carried a tiny, glowing orb clasped in one of its limbs. Stars, she realized, newly formed and still warm from their birth. "Welcome, Solara," chimed a chorus of voices, echoing as if sung in harmony. "We have awaited your arrival." One of the shepherds, its coral arms tinged with silver, floated forward and extended a fragile limb. "I am Marel, keeper of nascent stars," it said. "The moonstone has spoken true. You are the chosen dream keeper, destined to protect the Star Garden." Solara's heart fluttered. I am honored, Marel. But how can I help you? What is happening here? Marel's opal eyes dimmed with sorrow. A shadow moves through Lumara, stealing stars before they can fully awaken. Without their light, the dreams they inspire on the surface world will never reach human hearts. We have lost too many already. From the crowd of shepherds, a youth-shaped figure drifted forward. A bubble owl, translucent and softly glowing, its great eyes deep wells of memory. "I have seen the shadow of silence," it hooted, voice warm yet heavy with foreboding. "It was once a guardian like us, but grief turned it to darkness. It believes that without dreams, pain and sorrow will never touch the surface. So it steals stars to banish hope." Solara's grip tightened on the moonstone. "We must stop it," she said firmly. "But where do I begin?" Morel gestured to a glowing archway carved of living coral. "Beyond that gate lies the Star Orchard, where dormant stars rest until they awaken. There you must tend to the seeds of light, nurturing them until they bloom. Then you must travel to the heart of our world, where the shadow has raised its fortress of silence, and restore the stolen stars. The bubble owl fluttered its wings, and tiny orbs of air drifted up, bursting into faint melodies. But beware, Solara, the shadow grows stronger with every star it consumes. Its fortress lies within a field of silent currents, where even the song of the moonstone cannot guide you. Solara drew in a steadying breath, gazing at the endless sea of stars before her. Then I shall learn to sing its melody. With the starfish shepherds and the bubble owl guiding her, Solara stepped through the coral archway. Beyond, she beheld a garden of crystalline trees, their branches heavy with slumbering stars like dewdrops of pure light. The air here thrummed with potential, each star ready to awaken and join the heavens above. Maril placed a coral arm upon Solara's shoulder. Place the moonstone at the center of the orchard. Let its light awaken the stars within. Solara knelt beside a circle of starlight roots. With careful reverence, she set the moonstone on a pedestal of pearlescent shell. Instantly, its glow intensified, spreading through the roots like ripples in water. Stars around her trembled and brightened, bursting open like blossoms, their light weaving upward toward the surface. As the first stars awoke, Solara felt a surge of hope ripple through Lumara, and a distant echo of laughter on the wind, as if someone above had rejoiced at their return. But at the edge of the orchard, a pool of stillness rippled, a gateway to the silent fields where the shadow waited. There, Solara glimpsed a dark shape, an immense figure wreathed in obsidian mist, its empty eyes fixed on her with ancient sorrow. Steeling herself, Solara rose to her feet. The moonstone hummed in her hand, and now, instead of fear, she felt a fierce determination. The shadow of silence had stolen enough light. It was time to reclaim the stolen dreams and restore the star garden in full. Beyond the star orchard's awakening light lay the silent fields, a vast expanse of silted coral and still water where not a ripple dared stir. Here, the currents held their breath, and the bioluminescent glow had dimmed to a faint ember. Solara felt an eerie hush settle over her as she stepped into the expanse, each footfall muted by drifting sand. The bubble owl hovered close, its transparent wings fanning the water into tiny waves. Here, the shadow's power is strongest, it whispered. The moonstone's song falters. Trust in your own light, Solara, and remember the lullaby of your heart. Solara nodded, pressing the moonstone to her chest. She closed her eyes and let her mind drift back to the melody her grandmother used to hum, a delicate tune of hope woven into every note. As she hummed beneath her breath, the moonstone pulsed in time with her heartbeat, casting a gentle glow that painted the silent fields silver. Slowly, bubbles rose from the coral underfoot, carrying her lullaby upward. The still water began to stir, as if awakened by her song. Tiny motes of starlight drifted around her, dancing to the rhythm of her melody. With each note, the hushed world brightened, and the path ahead became visible, paved with pearls of light. At the center of the silent fields stood the fortress of silence, a jagged spire of blackened coral crowned with strands of obsidian seaweed. No light dared touch its walls. Solara's grip on the moonstone tightened. She could feel the shadow's sorrowful presence, a weight that tugged at her spirit. "I am not afraid," she murmured, stepping forward. The moonstone's glow now responded to her courage, shining brighter than ever. As she approached the fortress's gate, a yawning maw of polished jet, her lullaby wavered. A deep, resonant voice echoed from within. "Turn back, child of light. Here, dreams go to die. Why bring your fragile hope to this place of despair?" Solara raised her chin, because without dreams, we die too. From the darkness, the shadow of silence emerged. Its form was fluid and ever-changing. Sometimes an arm, sometimes a face. Bits of broken stars clung to its mist, their faint glimmers extinguished. It drifted forward, its presence chilling the water around them. "I once believed that dreams caused pain," the shadow intoned, voice hollow as a tomb. "They promised joy, only to bring sorrow when they shattered. So I took the stars one by one to protect the world from heartache. Now I offer you the same. Abandon your futile hope and join me in silence." Solara's heart ached at the loneliness in its voice. She glanced down at the moonstone, then back to the shadow. "I understand your sorrow," she said softly. "But silence and despair are not protection. They are emptiness. Dreams may break, but they also heal, inspire, and connect us all." At her words, the moonstone blazed like a miniature sun. Beams of silver light shot outward, dissolving the shadow's mist into motes of stardust. The water around them trembled as ancient lament and hopeful laughter intertwined. The shadow recoiled, its form flickering. Yet in its hollow core, Solara saw the flicker of a trapped star, a single point of dim light. "That is the first star you stole," she said, voice gentle. "Let it go. Let it shine." The shadow wavered, torn between despair and the glimmer of hope. Solara knelt before it and placed the moonstone against the fortress's gate. "With this light, I release your sorrow and set the stars free." A pulse of radiant energy surged from the stone, traveling through the fortress's black coral. The imprisoned star flickered, then exploded into brilliance, scattering shards of light across the silent fields. One by one, the other broken stars reignited, their radiance banishing the fortress's shadows. When the light settled, the shadow stood transformed, no longer a figure of void, but a gentle guardian whose misty form shone with renewed warmth. Its hollow eyes were replaced by opalescent pools reflecting the reborn stars. "I remember," it whispered, voice trembling with tears. "I was once a keeper of dreams, a dream walker who guided lost souls. But grief clouded my purpose. Thank you, Solara, for reminding me of the light." Solara rose and offered her hand. "All of us can lose our way, but hope will always call us home." The guardian nodded, and together they watched as the silent fields bloomed with starlight once more. Currents that had been frozen for centuries now danced in joyful swirls, carrying renewed lullabies through Lumara. With the shadow redeemed and the silent fields restored, Solara led her new companion and the starfish shepherds back through the orchard, where countless stars now glimmered like blossoms in full bloom. Each star lifted into the ocean above, soaring toward the surface to reclaim its place in the night sky. As they emerged from the coral archway, Solara felt the current shift, carrying her gently to the world above. She broke through the surface and inhaled the cool night air. Her hair slick with salt water, but her spirit alight. Above her, the moon shone brighter than ever, and the stars, once dimmed by fear, now sparkled with renewed brilliance. She spotted constellations new and old, each one shining with the promise of dreams made real. The villagers, roused by the extraordinary spectacle, gathered along the shore. Their faces glowed with wonder and belief, for in a single night they had witnessed the skies change. Lanterns were forgotten as every heart turned upward. Hope rekindled in the simple act of looking at the stars. Solara waded to the shore, where her grandmother, a gentle soul with silver hair and knowing eyes, awaited her. She embraced Solara, who felt the warmth of family and home like a soft blanket around her shoulders. "My child," her grandmother whispered, "you have done what many deemed impossible. You have restored the balance between dreams and the waking world." Solara smiled, placing the moonstone in her grandmother's palm. "The moonstone will remain here with you until I am needed again." Her grandmother nodded, tucking the glowing gem into her pocket. "You have the moon's ear and the dream walker's heart. Now, every night, when you sit under the crimson tree, know that you are never alone." In the days that followed, the island thrummed with a renewed sense of wonder. Children swapped stories of their dreams at sunrise. Poets who had long been silent took up their quills again, inspired by visions of Lumara's beauty. Even the elderly, once resigned to dull sunsets, found themselves humming old lullabies beneath the moonlight. Each night, Solara returned to the cliffside tree, now blooming with fresh crimson leaves hung with tiny starlight buds. She sat cross-legged on the familiar rock, her gaze lifted to the heavens. The moon and stars greeted her like old friends, and in her hand she held a new gift. A stardust locket, a token the redeemed Dreamwalker had forged from the fortress's coral, imbued with the power to share hopeful dreams. One night, as she sat in quiet contemplation, a small figure appeared at the edge of the glow. An orphaned boy from a distant village, drawn by tales of the Dream Keeper. His eyes were wide with awe as he stepped into the starlit circle. "Are you Solara?" he whispered. She smiled warmly. "I am, and you are welcome here." He pressed a small, tattered notebook into her hand, a journal of dreams he feared were forgotten. I tried to dream, but they slipped away. Can you help me?" Solara opened the locket, and a swirl of soft light enveloped them both. The boy's notebook glowed, and as he slept in her arms, she guided him into a gentle dream, where he soared among glowing vales and whispered with starry birds. When dawn broke, the boy awoke smiling. The pages of his notebook filled with new dreams. And so the cycle continued. Under the watchful glow of the moon, Solara, dream keeper of both sea and sky, welcomed those in need of hope and guided their heart's desires back into the night. Her song blended with the lullabies of the cosmos, a reminder that as long as there are dreamers, the stars will always have a home. And that, dear dreamers, brings us to the end of Solara and the Whispering Moon. Thank you for drifting along on this starlit adventure beneath the waves and beyond the veil of silence. If this journey filled your heart with wonder and your mind with dreams, please give the video a like, subscribe to Dreamy Sleep Tales, and ring the bell so you never miss another bedtime voyage. Don't forget to share this story with friends and family. After all, hope shines brightest when we pass it on. And I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments what you loved most about Solara's quest. Which part made your imagination soar? Or any dream you'd like to explore next? Until we meet again, beneath the moonlit sky, sleep well and keep dreaming.